It's a pride and pleasure for me to participate in a joint program arranged by IMART and the Business Ethics Foundation on a very important topic, which is linked to everybody and every citizen of the country. Principal Jadhav, the Executive President of the Marathwada Mitra Mandal, Dr. Sriram Nirlekar, Bhuvanesh Kulkarni, the Vice President of the Business Ethics Foundation, and the two learned speakers, and my fellow colleagues for today's program, Shivaji Malkar, sir, and Dr. Bhushan Kodekar. On 8th November 2016, I was in Delhi in my council meeting when the news came of the demonetization. And up to not midnight, early mornings, as a chartered accountant started receiving the calls. And what was the subject matter? What shall we do? It was a very difficult question to answer. And the answer given by me from that day till today is a legal answer. If you have a cash in hand, even with 500 or 1,000 rupee notes, irrespective of its quantum, and if you are able to prove your corporate governance, you can deposit in n amount of scheme, x amount of scheme, amount of that money. There is absolutely no problem. But that was not the question which was asked by the people. They were trying to ask the question otherwise, for which even as a chartered accountant, nobody has an answer. You agree with me? And rightly thereafter, Government of India also announced a scheme that yes, you pay the tax, keep some money with government, and the balance amount you utilize, whatever the portion is. People are saying there is no authenticated record, but the discount in the month of November ranged from 30% to 60% of the old notes. And on 30th December again I was in Delhi, and my council colleague from Delhi told me, sir, today 500 rupee note, there is a premium of 5%, and 1,000 rupee note, there is a premium of 10%. I was a little bit puzzled. What are you talking discount or you are talking premium? You can no premium. Then what has happened? There are some corporate houses where on the books of accounts they have cash on hand. Prior to 8th November, and today, the 29th and 30th, the last day for depositing, but they don't have the physical cash, and therefore it is sold at a premium. My dear, the esteemed learned audience here and the student friends, it was a cancer for India. I repeat the word cancer. I remember in 2011, Government of India wrote a letter to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India how to deal with corruption. I was one of the committee members. Committee does not mean only come, meet and tea. We had a serious business. And in the serious business, the chairman of the committee asked me a question that how do you deal with? And I divided the topic of corruption into 4 parts. I said I come from highest to lowest. Number 1, highest corruption is political corruption. Second corruption is bureaucratic corruption. Third is corporate corruption. And fourth one is personal corruption. Personal corruption, I mean, if my income is at 60 lakh rupees and I show only 40 lakh rupees, I am also corrupt to the extent of tax rate multiplied by the 20 lakh rupees. Now this is from seriousness, what is the volume and somewhere there has to be a control. But when I talk about the impact, I don't know where the corrupt money has gone. Or the corrupt money has been deposited in various bank accounts, with discount portion or premium portion as the case may be. The Reserve Bank of India is yet to give the count. But it's a good, it started from top. At least shown like that. Now let's see what happens. When we deal with whether after the demonetization, whether the corruption will stop, I have my question mark. The quantum will reduce, at least to begin with. But whether will it stop in the long future, that I am not aware. This I am talking from the practical example. 2 days before, one of the immovable property transaction of my relative was to be registered. So naturally, I asked, you have paid the stamp duty by e-payment? You paid the registration fees by e-payment? Now you have to pay the paging charges. That's all in the registrar's office. Plus lawyer charges. Paging charges are hardly 400, 500 rupees. The lawyer asked, you 3,000 rupees. Now again question arises in 3,000 minus 500. What happens to 2,500? The question was asked to the lawyer by my relative. That sir, after demonetization, I don't have cash. He said, no, you will come today, but you have to come daily here in this office. And therefore, practice may continue. And for this purpose, the future, the generation, you have to take care. But it's good. To my mentor, Dr. Manibai Desai, who worked for the millions of the rural people, I asked him one question while traveling. And the issue was very simple. I just given him a scenario. That sir, I am on the railway station. I have to go to Delhi. I don't have a reservation. But TC agreed to take me. He will give 1,000 rupees and sit in first class. There is no problem. What shall I do? This is my problem. He has given me an answer after half an hour. After half an hour, you are thinking, the true Gandhian was totally aloof, didn't have any wealth. And he gave me an answer, maximize this type of events, minimize these type of events to the, you minimize. That means he couldn't give the answer with, no, you should not do it. Because practicality and the problem. I feel, as a chartered accountant, as far as accounting is concerned, we can only say, whatever your cash in hand is there, you deposit up to 30th December, and even after 30th December, with the prior permission of Reserve Bank of India, in select offices. There is no problem. But that has not happened. One jeweler in Delhi had a sale 100 times of the daily average. Then naturally question arises of governance. What is the governance? How can you make a sale on 8th November itself 100 times more than your daily average? Impact is very simple. They are under the radar of Income Tax Department. And naturally they are going to face the problems. Now, to what extent they will face the problem, the time will give the answer. But yes, certainly they will face the problem. So I am talking only one thing. Then whatever your normal sale, etc. is there, that you have to check up. And if you are reading the books of accounts, you have the cash in hand, deposit in the bank, absolutely no question will be asked. No question of 2,50,000 rupees arise there. Even as a proprietor, even as an individual. But in case if you have manipulated your accounts, then you are going to face the problem. And for that purpose, you take the advantage of the scheme declared by the government. And what is the scheme declared by the government? You pay 50% tax. You keep 25% with the government for 4 years. and balance 25% you enjoy with immediate effect. That was looking the solution. But as a common citizen of this country, we are not able to find out a reconciliation that where the black money has gone. The scheme has been declared by Honorable Prime Minister with reference to control of drug traffic, with reference to the corruption, with reference to smuggling from the other countries, and with reference to proper governance in this country and to bring a financial discipline. Now we have to check up in time to come. So far, or in future, near future, what are the objectives achieved? Whenever something new comes, there are bound to be problems. Change is the way of life. Change is inevitable. And therefore, I really congratulate the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji, for the purpose of taking this bold decision. This was expected by Rajiv Gandhi when he became a Prime Minister first time. However, it could not happen. As a common citizen, we could not get the answer. But the bold decision what he has taken has naturally consequences. There are difficulties too. What are the difficulties? Most of the transactions in our country happens in cash, especially personal transactions. Even as educated people, we are afraid to use the debit card and credit card sometimes. And in between news was there, 30,000 cards have been scrapped because there are some problems in information technology. And therefore, even today, by using the card, sometimes there is a problem. I was in Canada, and my card was retained by the hotel. I was worried. What do we do? And actually, all of a sudden, on the second day, entire payment of 80,000 rupees worth in Canadian dollar, they have debited to my account. Even though I told them on the last day, I have a currency, US dollars, I will give you on the last day, and credit card is just for security purpose. Therefore, we are worried sometimes if the credit card is misused is the problem. In one of our chartered accountants' office, there was a cash credit facility from one of the nationalized bank of 80 lakh rupees. Withdrawal was hardly 1 lakh rupees. And all of a sudden, at 10:15, there were 2,000 transfers by taking the overdraft, and the money has gone 2,000 transfers further. Could not be traced. And there is a problem. Therefore, unless and until there is a proper guaranteed security, this cashless transactions becomes a problem. I am from a village. I am aware about the difficulties faced by agriculturists, difficulties faced by the people who are living and carrying on the business in villages. Right? In advanced countries like US, Australia, UK, maximum cashless transactions are to the extent of 55%. That means even in advanced countries, even 45% transactions still happens in cash. India is emerging economy. India is developing economy. And therefore, to what extent there will be cashless transactions? That we have to check out. That is one of the biggest problems, and therefore, from 8th November, everybody, including myself and everybody who is sitting here, we have faced the problems, and problems are still continuing. What was expected? The 1,000 rupee note should not have been brought. But there should be currency note of 200 rupees, 300 rupees, 400 rupees, 600 rupees, and so on. Probably it would have eased the problem. Today, taking a note of rupees 2,000 is a problem. Right? And on the toll, I am always worried. Shall I tell you the true fact of the tolls? We have done some study of the toll collections. You are aware that 99% toll collection is in cash. For your information, under the Income Tax Act, whenever the new infrastructure facility is developed, there is a tax exemption for a period of 10 years. You are aware who are the partners of toll exemption? Tolls. Many politicians are also the partners in toll either by direct partner or indirect partner. Like some people talk, I am a partner with Balaji, Tirupati, 2% partner, sir. I don't know how Balaji has signed the partnership deed. So similarly, there are some unwritten partnerships are there with a faith. And then what happens? The money which is by way of corruption goes as a toll collection and 100% exempt from tax in the first 10 years. I was in Singapore, and while traveling that hired car, it has just gone through one patch. There was a toll car. Immediately it entered in the toll car, and immediately it is entered in my bill also, simultaneously. Curiously, I asked the question, sir, this is Indian software. The software is prepared in India, using Singapore. Why not in India? We are waiting for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Don't wait for more than 5 minutes and you will not to pay any tax. Gone. Only that was for 3 days, whenever you make agitation. Yesterday, day before yesterday, I was not told tax. We are coming from Satara. Half an hour. Rush. So this is the problem. So how the problem is, after the demonetization, substantial business is affected, yes, especially of a small scale industry, one of a small hawker, small shops, and it has an effect on the entire business industry, whether large or small. But I hope it's a temporary one, and in times to come, it will develop. So the GDP of 2016-17 is definitely likely to be affected. But what was anticipated by government as far as this demonetization effect is concerned, especially on account of corruption and the black money, I don't know whether it is achieved. And in case it is not achieved, they have to really, through the Income Tax Department, through the CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, they have to find out ways and means, and they have to do the justice to the honest taxpayers. That is a very, very important point you have to note. Now, lot of money is lying with bank. Bankers are here, so they will deal further, but as a chartered accountant, whenever we go to the bank, one question is asked by the manager, and manager asks, sir, please, give your good clients, we sanction the money within 8 days. Definition of good client, don't know. Account should not be NPA, non-performing asset. But it's very difficult. And NPA account is not only on account of his behavior. NPA account may be on account of the overall effect of the economy. Sometimes the circumstance is beyond his control, and his regular account go into the NPA. Therefore, the question must arise, who is a good account? But I tell you, lot of money is lying with bank. Even lot of money was lying with bank prior to demonetization. After the demonetization, you are aware what has happened, and therefore large amount of money is with the bank, and therefore you are aware about the demand and supply. When the supply is more and the demand is less, the price is going to down, and therefore the rate of interest are further will fall down. Wait, watch and see. But what my clients are talking about, or the businessmen are talking about? Sir, earlier I was making the payment by check, right? Dispatch the check, 3 days in transit. The party will deposit the check 8 days thereafter. So straight away they were giving the working capital of 10 days. Now everybody is insisting on RTGS, NEFT, e-payment, and therefore they say our working capital need has been increased to that extent. But yes, we have to go for cashless economy. But time has to come to mature. And in the intermittent time, there has to be sufficient alternate facilities should be made available. Right? Every student might be having the cards now. My generation always talked about earn now, spend later. We have not purchased a motor car by taking a loan. Even at that time, house was not purchased by taking a loan. Today's thinking is Western thinking. Spend now, earn later. Even there are installments for travel to Europe. Why you should travel? Right? India, there are many things to see. That you will see when you come from Europe. Right? Therefore, the problem arises that this type of thinking has to develop. And in India, unless and until the young generation takes into consideration, yes, this I have to do it, then there is no problem. My dear friends, speakers have to talk. I'll answer more questions from the accounting, from taxation, from finance point of view, accounting point of view. Let the speakers also give their views, and then I come back for the question answer. Thank you.